art of the spy is an extremely intricate and delicate practice, and the master is akin to the flowing water of a river, adaptable, malleable, and constantly in motion. The goal of a good spy is to always stay one step ahead of the enemy, siphon valuable intelligence out of the enemy, and ultimately create chaos and confusion for this enemy. This is primarily the reason that spies did not have it easy in history. Ever since the dawn of civilization and warfare, spies were treated especially harsh in comparison to their foot soldier counterparts. They were seen as snake-like manipulative people that took advantage of human emotion to extract important information, and if caught, could expect no less than execution. Born in Russia in 1895 to a German father and a Russian mother, Richard Sorge's aptitude for espionage was already a birthright, only amplified by the fact that he moved back to Germany at a young age. Whilst in Germany during his early years, the First World War broke out and Richard fought valiantly for the German army. Although Richard was seriously wounded and was left with a permanent limp, he ultimately survived and went on to make a good recovery, presumably as a patriotic German citizen. This, however, all changed in the years after, where Sorge would go on to earn a PhD and begin his slow, yet increasingly radical transformation into an extreme Marxist by the time World War II hit. Already in Russia by 1924, Sorge had a good 10 years of developing his communist ideology and perfecting the Russian language before the rumblings of war even began to appear. Due to his knowledge of both the German and Russian language, Sorge opted to help the Soviets by joining the GRU intelligence division, becoming a spy, and a very good one at that. Sent to Tokyo, Sorge built his cover by joining the Nazi party and presenting himself as an expert on Japanese matters and affairs. With his intellect, wit, and good looks, he quickly forged connections with important German ambassadors, including one Colonel Eugen Ott, who he gathered extremely valuable information about the war from. One of Sorge's most valuable connections, however, came in the form of the Japanese communist sympathizer Ozaki Hotsumi. Ozaki, having close contact with the Japanese government's inner circle, transmitted important intel to Sorge, who was able to pass it on to the Kremlin. One such piece of information came in the form of Japan's plan to sign an anti-communist treaty with Nazi Germany. Stalin at the time feared a treaty like this would plunge the Soviet Union into a multi-front war that it would not likely survive. This advanced intelligence of the treaty led the Soviet Union to preempt a deal with the Germans and is said to have led to the 1939 German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact, which staved off one front at least for a while. Stalin, of course, was not able to evade the war for long though, and in late 1940, when Sorge began reporting about German forces concentrating near the Russian border, Stalin simply dismissed it as Western provocation, doubting the veracity of Sorge's intelligence. With that said, when the assault did actually happen and the Russians were caught off guard, Stalin became extremely desperate to know whether Japan intended to join the fight and start attacking from the west. Through Ozaki Hotsumi, Sorge was able to make the most important transmission of his life and inform the Kremlin that the Japanese were indeed not planning to attack. Stalin, this time believing his source, transferred his forces from these anticipatory defensive positions in the Far East to the West, where these reinforcements would help stem the tide of the German invasion, which could have easily meant make or break for the Russians. Back in Japan, however, Sorge's intricately constructed network of informants came tumbling down, as the secret police tracked members down and interrogated them. Sorge was therefore exposed and arrested. Although the Japanese offered to prisoner swap Sorge on 3 separate occasions, the Soviet always replied, "The man called Richard Sorge is unknown to us." They essentially left him out to dry, and he was eventually hanged in a damp Tokyo jail in 1944. As another quick fun fact, Stalin, being the insecure and paranoid leader he was, systematically eliminated anyone with knowledge of his failure to respond to the imminent German attack back when Sorge alerted him. This included Sorge's ex-wife, who was sent to a Siberian labor camp in 1942 and died 3 years later in captivity. So guys, before you ever think about joining a communist spy network or any communist organization in general, remember this video. Despite Sorge's amazing work for the Soviet Union in World War II, he was completely abandoned and was almost forgotten were it not for a French film in 1961 that alerted Nikita Khrushchev to his existence and led Sorge to posthumously receive a Hero of the Soviet Union award. However, I don't think that means much when you're dangling from a rope in a Japanese prison. Anyways guys, as per usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and just before you go, make sure you check out my Patreon. Any dollar really helps this channel out, as it is demonetized a lot of the time, and we earn a significantly reduced revenue rate than other channels because of the nature of the content. So checking that out would be a great help to me, guys. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new.